Hello again and welcome to Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping, breeding and showing of cage birds with a particular focus on the exhibition style budgerigar. In this episode we are going to be focusing on the breeding again, so we're going to do a full update on the breeding budgerigars, and indeed behind me we have got a new partner for the grey-green, cinnamon grey-green that was in cage number 6. You may remember this was the originally that bird was paired to the Bob McCabe hen outcross. She had come off the nest, and I did say I think she was a little bit getting a little bit old for breeding, so I've actually taken her out, and I'm going to replace her with the bird that's behind me that we will have a look at in just a second. As always, if you do enjoy these videos, don't forget to hit the like button. Do of course comment in the comment section of the YouTube, and most importantly, if you're not yet a subscriber, then please do subscribe to the channel, and for those early notifications then hit the bell. Right, let's have a look at what we've got as a new partner for the cinnamon grey green. So this is a new hen that I've got for the cinnamon grey green in cage number 6 that we've swapped out. So interestingly enough, this bird is actually the daughter of the original hen. So this is off of the McCabe outcross hen that we got. And this is the bird that won the CC for me at Swindon. There is a little bit of a relationship between this bird and the cinnamon grey-green cockbird. Not massive, so it dates back to grandparents, I think great-grandparents. There was some relationship there, but so it's not too big, it should be alright. I've only just got her out the flight, and it took a bit of catching, which is why she sat so badly. I think I'll just see if I can get her to sit a little bit better. There you go, she's still dropping her wings a little bit, but I think that's literally where I've just got her out of the cage. So this is going to be the replacement hen then, so this will be our pair 7, and will be in cage number 6. In terms of her age, I'm conscious I didn't mention her age, so she is 11 months old, so just coming up to 11 months actually, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but she is definitely in breeding condition, so I'm hoping that when we put her in, she might go straight down. Touch wood. Anyway, all I've got to do now is just trim her vent, give her a quick dose of spot on, and then she will go into the breeding cage. So I popped that pair back into cage number 6, or into cage number 6. Nest box is currently closed. We'll give it a couple of days and then we'll open it as per usual, and hopefully we will have a successful with that pair, whereas we didn't with the previous pair in there, or the previous hen that was with that cockbird. Anyway, we're going to do a full roundup now of the rest of the breeding cages. We'll start with cage 1 as we normally do. You may remember in cage 1 we've got a light green dominant pied that we got from Mr. Terry Sadler, and a fairly older cockbird, and we paired that to a cinnamon light green hen, and so far this pair have done really well for me. They laid a total of, I'm just double checking, a total of 8 eggs, of which 7 of those were full, and of those 7 that were full, 5 hatched, and 5 hatched, and we've actually managed to ring 4 of them. One of them was the smallest bird, and didn't actually. 2 of the eggs we put into cage number 4, you may remember. One of those hatched, and we lost it over firework night. The other egg, actually it was clear. I thought it was full, but it was actually clear. So, but in this nest box, we have got a total of 4 chicks, all developing very, very well. You can see them here. The dominant pied stands out amongst them as being fairly obvious, and it looks like it's going to be quite a nice, have that nice variety of colour. I do like the green. I think I might have said this before, the green dominant pied. I just think it looks nicer than the blue. Anyway, so they're all coming on really, really nicely. So for this cage, the next step, of course, is to put the chick hides in there, and I'll show you that in the next episode, the chick hides that I use. I think there is a video on there somewhere called cheap chick hides or something, so I make them myself, and they are a cheap version of a chick hide, so, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. Anyway, so this pair, like I say, doing really, really well, actually. I'm very pleased with that. Those chicks should all be, starting to come out of the nest box, and then hopefully we'll get another round off this. What I might then do is swap this cockbird over, or give him a little rest, and then swap him over and give him another hen. Anyway, so that's cage 1. What about cage number 2? So moving on to cage 2, and another successful pair here. This was another one of those birds we got from Terry Sadler, and it was the Lutino, and we paired that bird across to a opaline cinnamon green bird that was a little bit ticked. You may remember had a little bit of ticking across the head, and this pair took a little while to go down, unlike cage number 1, which we had eggs quite quickly. So this pair is a little bit behind all the others, and they've laid 8 eggs. The first 2 of those were clear, but the remaining eggs were full. So 6 full eggs. All of those have hatched. Unfortunately, the very last chick that hatched, it's so much smaller than all the others, and I didn't have anywhere to put it. It was, there's nowhere in here where I could have moved it to. The other cages that have got chicks in it have all got chicks of a slightly older age than this one, so it was no good moving it to that. And the only other cage I've got with eggs in it is cage number 4 that we'll talk about in a minute. But that cage, the hen in there has only just started laying, so I didn't have anywhere to move this young chick to, so I had to let it hope that the hen would find it and feed it, and unfortunately she didn't, or if she did, it got lost in the crowd and eventually got squashed by the older birds. So shame we lost the last of the 6 chicks, but we've got 5 in there. You can see them here again. All 5 are doing really, really well. It looks to me as if we've got of those, we've definitely got 2 that are red eyes, and we've rung the first of those red eyes. That's the oldest bird that you can see there, the one that appears to have slightly less down on it as the 2 slightly bigger birds. The other bird, the next bird down, looks to me like it's got the plum coloured eyes, so I think it's going to be a cinnamon, and this can only mean that the cockbird is split for cinnamon, because if it wasn't, then we couldn't get cinnamon, because the hen's got a cinnamon. It's similar to the Ino gene that I spoke about last time. The hen's only got 1 cinnamon, and for any bird from this pair to be cinnamon, it must have 1 from the cockbird and 1 from the hen, or just 1 from the cockbird. So it's the same way as the Ino. So it can only be that the cockbird is split for cinnamon, if it is going to be a cinnamon, that is. Anyway, so all 5 of the youngsters are doing well. I've now, you can see again in the short clip, I've literally just rung the second of the chicks from this particular pair. So again, really good news, like both the outcrossers, both slightly older birds that we got from Terry Sadler, both currently doing really well for me. So there we go, that's cage number 2. What about cage number 3? Well, let's talk now about cage number 3. This is the opaline cinnamon sky blue, another outcross bird. So the first 3 we've looked at are all outcross birds. This was an outcross we got from Mr. Rick Watts. Getting quite old, quite an oldish cockbird now. So again, like the other 2, we were sort of hoping to get a couple, or at least 1 or 2 more rounds off of this bird before it gets retired. And we paired him to a yellow-faced grey. The first round, they had 6 eggs, of which only 1 egg was full. That egg, unfortunately, when it had gone 3-4 days after the due hatch date, and when I then checked it, the egg had become addled for some reason, not quite sure why. So what I've done is those eggs have gradually all been removed, and we're waiting for this pair to go back down again. Now at the moment, the hen is showing, so she's been in the nest box and started to clear it. When I, literally today actually, I come in and she's obviously stopped clearing the nest box because it's not difficult to move it out and there's no extra sawdust on the floor. So she's obviously happy with what it looks like. Cockbird is really interested in the hen, but the hen is currently showing no signs of laying. So again, I'm going to give this pair probably no more than another week. If she hasn't started laying in a week, then what I will probably do is split this pair and maybe try this cockbird with 1 other hen. And if we don't get anything off that, then I'll retire, like I say, I'll retire this cockbird into the main flight. So we're back over to this side of the shed again to look at cage number 4. You may remember this is the cobalt that bred really, really well for me last year, and we paired him to an opaline cinnamon yellow-faced grey. First round, we had a total, I think it was 6 or 7 eggs, but they were all clear. And we thought it was because the hen went straight down, which she did. She went straight into the nest box, started laying. And I suggested that might have been the problem, because we know this cockbird is fertile. Well, they're now on the second round, and so far the hen has laid 4 eggs. I've not seen a massive amount of interest. Normally, what I would expect is the hen to come out of the nest box when I'm checking the nest box, and the cockbird to be instantly trying to feed her and then trying to mate with her while she's out of the nest box. I've not seen that. The cockbird goes straight down and starts to eat the soft food that I put in there, and the hen will then join him. But I've not seen any, any pestering from the cockbird onto the hen. And I have candled the first egg, and the first egg appears to be clear. Now, if I get another clear round off this, I'm going to very quickly swap these out and put another pair in there, because there's no point in trying to persevere with this pair. Like I say, there's not a massive amount of interest either between the cock or the hen. So I don't know. Maybe they just haven't bonded, or maybe one of them is a little bit out of condition or whatever. So I don't know, like I say. But we will, let her lay her round, and then if they are all clear, I'll take the cockbird out, pop him back in the main flight, and let her finish brooding the eggs, and then gradually take them away and pop her back into the main flight and get another couple of birds out of there to try. Sorry, in the main flight there's a young cockbird. I say young, he's obviously, he's quite a big bird, cobalt sun actually, currently trying to feed a opaline cinnamon hen, so there might be my next pairing. I'll have to double check, I'll have to get them out and have a look. Anyway, so that's cage number 4. Like I say, it's not the biggest of success, but there we go. You can't have everything in the first round. So having spoken about cage 4, where things haven't been overly successful, we'll now move on to cage 4, where it's been a little bit hit and miss in this cage. So this was a light green cockbird that we paired to a dark green hen. They paired really well. You may remember they were actually paired up in the flight. So and started to lay almost straight away. Total of 6 eggs. of which the first 5 were awful, which was really, really good news. The first egg hatched, but the youngster didn't make it, it died. And then we had the others all hatched, and all the chicks were fed by mum. We lost the youngest of those chicks, you may remember, just before I was due to ring it, if I remember rightly, and we put that down to fire at night. Strangely, very strangely, the chicks in this box have all been coming out of the box, and I've had to put them back in because I know when they're old enough to be or to have jumped the nest, or at least not in my view, they're not old enough yet. They're certainly younger than the ones that are in cage number 1, but they had all been coming out. So I went, almost for about 3 or 4 days I was coming out, and there would be either 2 on the bottom of the cage floor, and I'd put them back in, and then the next day there would be 1 on the bottom of the cage floor, I'd pop it back in. Today I come in, and the youngest of the chicks was dead in the nest box. Now the other 2 look fine, you can see them here. The other 2 look fine, as I say. What I've been watching though and looking at is both the cockbird and the hen actually look quite thin, and the 2 birds that are in there, I've checked the crops, and they don't appear to be, as full as I would expect them to be. So I'm a little bit worried about this pair at the moment. I'm not sure whether the chicks were coming out of the nest box because the pair weren't feeding them. I'm not sure if for some reason this pair aren't getting enough food. It's not like the seed dish is never empty. They're eating all of the tonic seed that I give them, and they're not eating that much of the soft food. So I'm going to keep an eye on this pair. I'm hoping these last 2 chicks will make it to onto the perch to weaning, but if I lose another chick, I might move the oldest one into one of the other nest boxes, I don't know. Or the other thing I might do is actually, when I put the chick hide into cage number 1, I might put the chick hide in there and take these out so that the parents can see them rather than have to keep going into the nest box. They do call for food. It's not like they're not calling, they're calling for food. And the hen does go in there, and I'm assuming she must be feeding them. Whether she's just got bored, I don't know. But I will keep an eye on this particular pair. Thoughts, of course. If you've got any thoughts about it, leave them in the comments box. So I'm beginning to wonder whether the loss of that youngest chick before wasn't down solely to fireworks, but might have been down to the hen not feeding, not topping these pair up enough. Anyway, that's cage number 5, a cage that we need to keep an eye on. Let's now move on to have a look at cage. In fact, we've looked at cage 6. Don't need to worry about that one too much. Cage 6 is the brand new pair. So there we go. That is cage number 5, a full roundup now you've had of all of the pairs. So that's a full roundup of all of them. I was happy before, and I'm still happy. I've said it. I'm happy with the way these are going. Certainly into the way the 2 Terry Sadler birds have been producing. That's always good to get that fresh blood into that shed. And we've got some varieties that I've not previously had in this shed in terms of the Lutinos. So I'm still happy with the way it's going. Setbacks, we never ever have a breeding season. Well, I never have a breeding season where it's all, everything works out. Well, we don't suddenly have chicks die, which you're not expecting, or pairs that don't perform. So, so far, so good. Anything that comes after this round, we should get 2024 rings on them. Still waiting for those to arrive. Before we finish though, what we'll do is we'll just have a look at some of the birds that were at the Oxford 1910 show. I was really hoping to get some birds out to that show, both in terms of the fifes and some actually quite nice young birds that I've got in the flight, to see how they would compare. Unfortunately, with some work commitments that I had, and there were lots and lots of entries for the 1990 show, so I was getting home from working most of the day, and then spending all of the evening after I'd fed the birds, all of the evening just dealing with the entries. So, you know, getting other cage labels back out and filling in all the various bits and pieces you need to do as show secretary. So I just didn't have a chance to prepare any of the birds, and it wasn't fair to then try and do it at the last minute. So I didn't get any birds out. Got a couple of shows in December, my last 2 shows in December, that I am going to get birds out. I've entered those. One down in Swindon Cage Bird Society, and one the High Wycombe Cage Bird Society. However, I don't think my birds were missed overly, because we had a really, really good entry. It was up on last year. So what we'll do is, before we go, we'll have a look at some of those birds that were entered in that show. As always, if you enjoy the show, don't forget to hit the like. Most importantly though, do stay safe and enjoy the birds. Let's have a look at Oxford 1910.